Hey, in this week's episode, we're talking about leaving the soup can in the cupboard and making some what? Homemade chicken noodle soup right here in camp. But guess what? Homemade egg noodles. Oh yeah, you heard me say it right. Don't buy them out of the sack no more, because this is so easy and so tasty. It is the best thing ever. Come on, I'll get the fire stoked and we're going to warm up with some homemade chicken noodle soup. Hey, thank y'all for stopping by camp on a little windy, chilly day it is here in southwest Oklahoma. And you can see we got us a little skiff of snow we did. Whew, it was sure pretty this morning. Duke and Big and me, we done built us a snowman, got out there, we was throwing snowballs at each other. But what is better on one of them old cold days than a good hearty bowl of what? Chicken noodle soup. Now I'm not talking about out of the can, I'm talking homemade chicken noodle soup. So let's get after it. So you see me, you did. I take that stock pot, put about 4 cups of water in there, put it on a burner over pretty medium high heat it was. And then I'm gonna add me about 2 tablespoons of butter there, get me 2 of them pretty big chicken breasts. And I just want you to put them down in there, give you a shake of that good original seasoning on there, put the lid on it, let it boil for about 30 to 45 minutes until that chicken gets tender. I like to let mine cool off a little and then you can just shred it. I mean, that stuff will fall apart. You can chunk it, you can do whatever you want to, or cut it up in littler pieces. But folks, I was raised on that chicken noodle Campbell's soup, I was. And the only ever complaint I ever had about it was sometimes I couldn't find no chicken in it. So hey, we're gonna put some meat in there. You know the cowboy's gonna break out. It's a lot of meat to put in whatever he's cooking. And guess what? You can use thighs, you can use breast and thighs, you could use turkey, you could use anything you got. But folks, this is gonna be so easy to do and so tasty. So we got the chicken shredded, we're gonna put it back in there. Don't pour that broth out of that pot. Put your chicken all back in, and we're gonna add 4 cans of chicken broth to that liquid that we've already got. You know, the Big, he was good enough in between his hunting to help me go ahead and chop up a big white onion, some celery, and some carrots, and cut some garlic up. And folks, I just need you to put it all in there because we talking about bringing out some flavor. And the reason I like to start this first is so all these veggies can be getting tender while we making them egg noodles. So we'll put that in there, set it over here on Bertha and let her love on it. Don't forget them garlics that was over here hiding. And to that, we're gonna add a little what? A little poultry seasoning. And a little dry rubbed sage. We'll salt and pepper and season to taste right there at the end. The wind is blowing a little. I don't know which way it's out of. So we'll try about that much and hope we got 2 teaspoons in there. So I'm going to give it just a little dab of salt just to start off with. Give it a quick stir, set it over there on Bertha, and we're going to talk about what? Some egg noodles. What? You want to go to the store, get some out of the sack? Please don't. Please don't do that. Because this is so easy and they so tasty, folks. You be wanting to make them and put them on everything. I done made some the other day, and what? Shan ate all the noodles out of the soup right off one batch right there. And they was enough to go around to last the winter. I say, these things are easy. Start with about 1 1/4 cups of flour. And this might throw you for a little loop here. But if we're making chicken and dumplings, poultry seasoning. Now, poultry, Shan, what is poultry?
Chicken.
Turkey?
Bird.
Yes, there we go. So we need a little of that flavor in here with them noodles as well. So wind blowing and all, we're going to try to get about a teaspoon or 2 in there. And after that, we got to have us a little bit of salt. And I just want you to mix that up before it all blows away, unless you're in the house and the wind ain't blowing. And then to that, it says 2 tablespoons of softened butter. Now my butter, I set over on Bertha, and y'all can see it got plenty soft, it did. So I'm just gonna well it up right there in the middle, and we're gonna call that pretty close to what it was. Now, if it's just regular softened butter and you put it in there, I just want you to take one of them crumb cutters or a fork and just incorporate that butter well in there with it. And then we're gonna take us 1 egg that we have beaten. What? You're not poultry. No, you're not a poultry dog. Pour that right in there with that butter. And then we're going to use about 1/4 of a cup of milk. And then I just want you to take a spoon and try to get it sort of where it'll ball up here in a minute, and then we're going to work it just a second. But it don't take much to make no egg noodles, folks. Get that all in there together to where you can take your hands to it. You might want to put a little flour to them. And out here in this cold, it's going to be a little different than it is at your house. But you may have to add a little flour to go with it. But make sure that if you've cut that butter in there with a crumb cutter, that you get it well matched up in this dough, because we need all that butter for flavor. And then we're just going to make us a little ball. Right there it is. That's an egg noodle, Shan, right there in the making. It is. All I want you to do, lay it out there, cover it with a cup towel, let it set about 5 minutes, okay? I need you to just let it sit there. It ain't gonna rise, but I just need everything you to sort of sit there and play oh so nice with each other. Well, it is set 5 minutes, it has, and I want you to flour the board. You can see some of it ain't never gonna get there today, but I need you just to flour it just a little. Now, we just gonna take it, after it's set here in this little ball stage, I just want you to give it a mashing, because we're gonna roll it out. Make sure you get some flour on both sides. Just roll it out till they're the desired thickness that you want. I sort of like mine about 1/8 of an inch. Now this don't have to be no shape or no size, but just make sure that you get them pretty thin, because folks, we're gonna let them set after we cut them out. It sort of helps them noodles form their shape and stay that way. Now if you got one of them little noodle rolling machines that just cut them noodles out, hey, you can just go right on through there and just cut them all out and be ahead of the game. But what do we got? We got one of these here pizza cutters, I think is what it is. Well, you can see that is pretty thin, and you can adjust to the thickness of how you want them. I sort of like mine like a dumpling, because they're going to puff up a little when they go to cooking, and that's the way I like them. I don't like them noodles where you can't find them. I want a bunch of them in there. And you can start anywhere you want to and just cut them. Now, it helps if you can cut a straight line. And
it's a little wobbly.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's not too bad for me, though, on a windy, cold day that I can't feel my fingers no more. So we'll just get them all cut, folks. And when you get them to that place, just make sure you get everybody, because everybody wants to take place in the homemade noodles here, they do. And then you can just come back across and cut them any size or shape you want, big or little, it don't make no difference. But I need you now to just take them and separate them, because we need them to be separated from each other before they get back in there and take a hot bath. Well, that's been boiling for about 20 minutes, it has, and there is some good aroma out of there. Now remember when I told you to separate them noodles when we first cut them out over there? You know why? That's so they can dry out and sit there and sort of get like this. Now these may be froze out here today. I can't tell, my hands is so cold I can't feel them. But folks, I just need you to put them in there. And we're gonna reduce it down there to a simmer, which old Bertha is doing right now. She just gonna love on it. Just place them around in there, and when you let them dry out like this, they ain't gonna stick together. That's one more of them little tips that you needed to know in making some homemade egg noodles. Now we're gonna bring this to this little simmer, and we're gonna let it cook about 20 minutes, or your desired consistency of your noodle when you pull one out of there and taste it. Whew, like I say, Shan, she done eat all them we had in that other pot, so better be careful. Watch that pot, somebody be up there getting it. Well, ain't that a pretty heartwarming dish? It'll warm your heart and your soul there, and it's easy. I'm thinking, I used to buy egg noodles. I ain't buying them no more. Them things are so easy to make, folks, and the flavors that you got here. But hey, I've had some really good help today, so I'm gonna feed them first, and they do love an egg noodle. Hey, Noodle Doodles. Wade, thank you, Big, so much. Duke tried to Duke was trying to hog in on the noodle business, wasn't he? Well, folks, ain't nothing warm you up like a good old bite of this right here. Get me some of that chicken and some of them noodles. You might have seen that Campbell's commercial, you know. Good. Folks, this is really good. Some of that good make you do the chicken noodle doodle. Yes, it will. You be noodling and doodling. Woo! That'll make a rooster crow 3 times a day right there. Well, folks, I'm just going to tell you, egg noodles is easy. And I just want to tell you, don't overcook them to where they're so tough you can't chew them, but don't undercook them to where they're gummy, because it's a just right texture. Just pull you one out there, and you can see that thickness is how they puffed up there. Sort of remind me of chicken and dumplings, the texture does, and that's what I'm after. But hey, if you have any left, it's even better warmed up the second time, but I don't think there's going to be none left. I want you to look there at that little subject saying, that is what you call a good little culinary helper. In fact, you're going to get one more little bite. Ah, boy, he do love some chicken noodle soup, he does. Well, folks, it ain't a habit, it's an honor. And I salute all our veterans and all our servicemen and women, everybody that's keeping us safe and fed and happy during these times. And remember, this channel is a place where you can all come and gather up and watch. Because, hey, y'all family to us, and we appreciate each and every one. Andy, Shan, Big, Duke, thank y'all so much for helping me out on a pretty cold and chilly day it is. God bless you each and every one. And guess what? I'm going to see you down the homemade chicken and noodle soup trail. In this week's episode, folks, we have, I don't know what we have.
Something's in there.
Get out there.
What is it? Oh, what is it?
Bobcat.
Is he gonna attack? Sorry.
Whew. You'll never go to the can again.